So I think Shedeur Sanders is the big winner here. The reason why is because where he excels is where he has always excelled, going back to his tape at Colorado, inside the red zone versus situational pressure versus pressure of the defense. And once that first read was taken away from Dillon Gabriel, you saw him hold the football and eat 2 sacks. Those are the things that we didn't see Shedeur Sanders do in his outing in the pros so far in his first game. So I think that's the biggest winner, Shedeur Sanders, because he didn't play and it wasn't wowing above, head and shoulders above of what he did. Now, the biggest loser, Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
What Gabriel showed out there today was that his floor is Kenny Pickett.
When the Browns desperately needed steadiness at quarterback, Gabriel gave them the opposite, a crushing pick-6 against the Eagles that had fans burying their heads. But while that blunder grabbed headlines, it was Dan O's bold proclamation that truly shifted the conversation. Shedeur Sanders looks like the franchise guy. With each throw and every flash of poise, Shedeur is showing he's the future Cleveland has long been searching for. Gabriel's errors aren't just painful, they're clearing the path. The torch is ready to be passed.
He's incredibly accurate.
Yes, he is.
He really understands not only offensive football, but he understands what you're doing as a defense. So he'll pick you apart that way. He processes quickly. Like, all those things to me are big time attributes.
People feeling bad for Dillon Gabriel and oh my God, Dillon Gabriel and all the positive. Hey, I gave Dillon Gabriel credit. I'm done. It's over with. You know what? The worst thing Dillon Gabriel was, it wasn't that terrible pick-6 or you awfully, even though Dillon Gabriel described that missed fumble as a miscommunication somehow. No, Dillon Gabriel, we watched it. You didn't get deep enough on your handoff.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback. There's no debate left to be had. Every time he takes the field, he brings a confidence and command Cleveland hasn't witnessed in years. The fans feel it, his teammates rally around it, and even the harshest critics are running out of ways to deny it. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel continues to remind everyone why he's not the answer, with that brutal pick-6 against the Eagles standing out as one of the season's worst. Dan O's blunt assessment wasn't just commentary, it was the truth laid bare. Gabriel simply isn't built for this stage. Shedeur is. And at this point, it's clear, he's the one who deserves the keys to Cleveland's future, while Gabriel is holding them back.
Love him or hate him, Shedeur Sanders moves the needle. Even though he inexplicably continues to be 4th on the Browns QB depth chart, he is certainly not 4th in terms of ratings. Listen to this. Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut this weekend drew 2.2 million viewers. It was the most watched preseason game of the decade on NFL Network. But even more impressively, it was also the #1 program across all of television. That's both cable and broadcast. And if you think it's just viewership, think again. This was a road game for the Browns in Carolina in a stadium that holds over 75K. And guess how many people showed up to watch this Browns-Panthers preseason game? Over 71,000 people were there, and they weren't there to see 2 bad teams play all their backups. They were all there to see this man.
That interception wasn't just bad, it was flat out humiliating. Gabriel looked like he was tossing a gift-wrapped package to the defense, locking onto his receiver so obviously it was as if he mailed the defender an engraved invitation to score. The instant the ball left his hand, the outcome was obvious to everyone in the stadium. When the Eagles walked it into the end zone, it wasn't merely 6 points, it was a giant flashing billboard screaming, "Bench him." How can anyone keep defending a quarterback who melts under pressure, especially when Shedeur Sanders is right there, calm, polished, and clearly the more gifted option? The contrast couldn't be clearer. One costs you games, the other can change the franchise.
Gabriel made his debut. Let's see how he performed. Looking around, moving around well in the pocket this first drive. Nice throw. Play action, Dillon Gabriel moving around. Wow, he's shifty. And he slides for a yard. And dropping back. Dillon Gabriel looking, firing outside the numbers. Dot. Dropping back. Gabriel dumps it down to the running back. Throws it over the middle, hits his wide receiver, Deontay Johnson.
The gap between Shedeur and Gabriel couldn't be more obvious. Gabriel looks rattled, reckless, and unsure, while Shedeur steps in with calm, confidence, and total command. Dano didn't exaggerate when he called Shedeur a franchise quarterback. That wasn't hype, it was fact. Cleveland has spent decades searching for stability under center, and now the answer is right in front of them. Yet Stefanski and the front office keep acting like Gabriel is the solution, ignoring what fans see clearly. Shedeur is the future, and Gabriel isn't.
Just played in his first preseason game of the year, his NFL debut with the Cleveland Browns, and I'm here to kind of discuss, did he look better than Shedeur Sanders? Is he above the depth chart on Shedeur Sanders? At least in my opinion, I'm gonna have to go out and say no. I thought he started off this game really well, really well. The second quarter came and things got a little bit ugly.
Gabriel's pick six was the perfect snapshot of his career, reckless, obvious, and costly. Shedeur, on the other hand, has displayed everything you want in a true franchise quarterback. He diagnoses defenses with poise, maneuvers in the pocket like a seasoned vet, and delivers throws that only the elite can make consistently. Fans recognize it. Analysts like Dan O recognize it. Even opposing defenses give Shedeur a level of respect Gabriel has never commanded. And yet, the Browns seem trapped in denial, unwilling to admit the truth. The quarterback they've been propping up simply isn't good enough.
Over the middle there to convert a third down to Blake Whiteheart. Keeps the drive alive. 4 of 4 for Gabriel on this drive. 29 yards, and the Browns would punch it in. But here, a mistake you just don't want to see your rookie make. Picked off, and it's Andrew Makuba the other way. Browns were in field goal position. Just gave up a pick six.
What makes Gabriel's collapse even worse is how quickly he tries to deflect blame. After that interception, instead of owning up to his mistake, he looked frustrated with everyone else. That's not leadership, that's insecurity. Shedeur doesn't do that. When things don't go his way, he resets, rallies his guys, and comes back sharper. That's the mentality of a franchise quarterback. Gabriel's mentality is that of a placeholder, a guy just trying not to get benched, but ironically doing everything possible to get himself benched. Dan O calling Shedeur a franchise QB wasn't just praise, it was an indictment of Gabriel. Because when you have one quarterback proving he belongs and another proving he doesn't, the choice should be obvious. Gabriel's interception against the Eagles wasn't an isolated moment, it was a pattern. It's who he is. A quarterback who will always hold his team back. And Shedeur? He's the quarterback who can finally push this franchise forward.
Right? But whatever this play is right here, toss it, throw it out of the playbook. We don't need this anymore. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Andrew Makuba, rookie DB, ends up jumping this thing. I don't understand the thought process here. It is 1st and 10. You're taught not to be too risky early in possessions.
Think about the way Cleveland fans reacted. They didn't groan quietly when Gabriel threw that pick six, they erupted in anger. Social media lit up, demanding that Shedeur take the field. The people know football. They've been through every disappointment imaginable at quarterback. If they're chanting for Shedeur, it's because they know he's the real deal. Gabriel's ugly mistakes aren't just hurting his reputation, they're hurting the entire team's chemistry and energy. Players don't rally around a quarterback who constantly puts them in bad situations. They rally around a guy like Shedeur, who lifts everyone up. Gabriel defenders will try to say it's one bad throw, but that's the problem. It's never just one. His whole body of work is filled with head-scratching decisions and costly turnovers. Shedeur, on the other hand, has shown composure even in the toughest matchups. When the pressure is highest, Shedeur rises. Gabriel crumbles. And when a guy like Dan O calls it out on national television, it only magnifies the truth Cleveland has been trying to ignore.
Snaps for them this year. Let's see some of them step up and make some plays out there.
Play action.
Gabriel has been very good so far. And this one is
That's a pick? Oh my god. Oh, yeah. That's all I need to see. Shedeur! Shedeur! Yeah, it's time, boy. That's all I need to see right there.
This isn't just about stats, it's about presence. Shedeur carries himself like the face of the franchise. His teammates believe in him. The fans believe in him. Analysts believe in him. Gabriel? He's the guy everyone's waiting to move on from. He doesn't inspire confidence, he drains it. And every time he throws another disaster like that pick six, he makes Shedeur's case even stronger without Shedeur having to lift a finger. The Eagles game will be remembered not for the Browns' fight, not for their effort, but for Gabriel's meltdown. That play was the headline. That play was the defining moment. And that play was the latest reminder that Cleveland has been wasting time by pretending Gabriel is the answer. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback who can change the trajectory of this franchise. Dan O said it plainly, and he's right. The Browns can either embrace reality and give Shedeur the reins, or they can keep watching Gabriel torpedo games with the same reckless mistakes that got him ripped apart in the first place. Because here's the bottom line, Shedeur isn't just a better option, he's the only option. If Cleveland is serious about winning, about building something sustainable, and about finally having a true face of the franchise, they have to make the change. The Eagles game should be the last straw. Gabriel proved what he is, and Shedeur has already proven what he can be.
I'm so happy with his performance. They saw what they had seen in college at Colorado. A man that understands how to play in pressure situations. Very few people would stand up and speak up and say, you know, I was absolutely wrong. He outran the defensive line and got around the corner because people said he couldn't run. Can't run like his dad. Can't no damn body run like his dad.
The fans are ready, the analysts are ready, and most importantly, Shedeur is ready. All that's left is for Cleveland to admit the obvious, the franchise belongs to Shedeur Sanders. The reaction to Gabriel's pick six didn't just die down after the game, it exploded across the sports world like a breaking dam. Every analyst from television studios to late-night podcasts was united on one point. Shedeur Sanders has already proven to be the franchise quarterback the Browns desperately need, while Dillon Gabriel looks like a backup forced into the wrong spotlight. Dan O's words cut through the noise and summed it up with authority, Shedeur is the future, and Cleveland better stop wasting time pretending otherwise. When you watch Shedeur under pressure, the difference is staggering. Against a ferocious Eagles defense, he read coverages in ways that showed maturity beyond his years. He didn't flinch at disguised blitz packages, didn't crumble when the pocket collapsed, and most importantly, he elevated everyone around him. That's what franchise quarterbacks do, they make their teammates better. Gabriel, on the other hand, delivered that one ugly pick six that felt like a metaphor for his entire Browns career, a ball thrown without conviction, late and wide, practically gift-wrapped for the defender. If you needed evidence of why Dan O called out Gabriel and elevated Shedeur, the tape speaks louder than any soundbite.
Listen, I'm telling you this right now. All you fans out there, NFL fans, especially if you Brown fans, go get that 1-2 jersey. And I'm not talking about Tom Brady. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders. Because if y'all know this now, you're going to know it soon. He's going to be the starter day one. He's the best one in the room. Listen, if you're in Ohio and you don't have Myles Garrett's jersey, you don't have Jamar Chase jersey, if you don't have Joe Burrow's jersey, if you don't have Spidey Mitchell's jersey, it's one jersey you better have then. And that's Shedeur.
Fans in Cleveland have long been starved for a quarterback they can believe in, someone who isn't just a placeholder but a real centerpiece. With Shedeur, they finally see that glimmer of hope. Social media lit up after Dan O's segment. Fans shared clips of Shedeur's tight window throws, his command of the huddle, even his sideline demeanor. It wasn't just about stats, it was about presence. Cleveland hasn't had that since what feels like forever. The Browns' carousel of quarterbacks has been nothing short of a nightmare, but in Shedeur they see the chance to finally step off that ride. Meanwhile, Gabriel looks more and more like just another name to tack onto the long list of failed experiments. Dan O didn't just stop at praising Shedeur's abilities, he drove the point home by pointing out Gabriel's flaws. The decision-making, the lack of field vision, the inability to shake off mistakes, those are glaring issues in today's NFL. You can't survive, let alone thrive, if you can't read a defense, and Gabriel proved against the Eagles that he still hasn't figured it out. The ugly pick six wasn't just a mistake, it was the kind of backbreaking error that crushes locker rooms and sidelines momentum. It was the type of throw that makes teammates roll their eyes and start asking the silent question, why isn't Shedeur in there full time?
Ultimately, here's how I see the Browns quarterback situation. You got 4 quarterbacks. Only one of them has the potential to be the future at the position for the Cleveland Browns. It ain't Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. He will not be on this team next season. It won't be Kenny Pickett. I mean, we've seen Kenny Pickett. It's not going to be Kenny Pickett. Dillon Gabriel is not ready for first team reps, and he's got just too many limiting factors.
The irony here is that Gabriel wasn't supposed to be the villain in this story. He came into Cleveland as a guy who had some believers, some thinking maybe he could surprise people. But every week the gap between him and Shedeur grows wider, and the frustration is seeping through. His comments about Shedeur, the way he tries to minimize the kid's success, it all reeks of insecurity. Dano calling him out wasn't just about one pick six, it was about the bigger picture of who Gabriel is as a quarterback compared to who Shedeur is becoming. What stands out about Shedeur isn't just his arm strength or mobility. It's the calm, the poise, the way he seems to know what's coming before it happens. Against the Eagles, a team known for confusing young quarterbacks, he didn't blink. That's not normal. Most rookies or young quarterbacks would be rattled, but Shedeur carried himself like he had been doing this for years. And it's not just on the field, it's the way teammates talk about him, the way fans chant his name, the way analysts like Dano are practically demanding the Browns lock him in as the starter.
Miss passes, you feel me? But there is something that you have to consider here. Shedeur is known to be the more accurate quarterback, and he was always running for his life. That's something you have to think about. He did not have the same offensive lines that Dillon Gabriel actually had at Oklahoma.
The Browns front office is in a precarious position. Every time Gabriel makes mistakes like that pick six, the calls for Shedeur get louder, and ignoring them risks alienating the very fans who keep the franchise alive. Dano just gave those fans more ammunition. His statement that Shedeur is the franchise quarterback wasn't some offhand remark, it was the validation that Cleveland needed to push the narrative forward. The city has been waiting for a leader, and Shedeur embodies everything Gabriel doesn't. Look at the body language. When Gabriel throws a bad pass, he sulks, he deflects, he tries to explain away what happened. When Shedeur faces adversity, he claps his hands, rallies the offense, and lines up for the next play. It's a stark contrast that teammates notice, and so do coaches, even if they won't admit it publicly yet. The Eagles game was the perfect stage for this drama. One quarterback folded under pressure, the other shined. Gabriel's pick six looked like a surrender flag, while Shedeur's drives looked like statements of intent. And while fans might forgive a bad game, what they won't forgive is a lack of accountability or a quarterback who doesn't elevate the team. That's why Gabriel's leash is getting shorter by the week, and why Dano wasn't afraid to spell it out.
Because somebody ain't do their goddamn job and y'all results in a pick six. So now they're looking at it like, y'all making our guy look bad. That's how the Browns front office looking at it. They like, this is supposed to be Gillen. This is supposed to be Dillon Gabriel's game to show that he's supposed to be up on the deep chart. He's supposed to be up on the deep. Y'all done made that man throw a pick six.
Cleveland's history is littered with quarterbacks who came in with hype and left with disappointment. Fans are tired of it. They don't want another chapter in the saga of wasted years, they want a star. And now, they have one in Shedeur. The way he processes the game, the confidence he exudes, it screams franchise quarterback. It's what separates good from great, and it's why Dano made that declaration so boldly. The Browns can't afford to keep waffling on this decision. Every snap given to Gabriel feels like a wasted opportunity for Shedeur to gain experience and further cement his role as the face of the team. The pick six against the Eagles wasn't just a bad throw, it was a turning point. A moment when fans and analysts collectively said, enough is enough. Shedeur isn't just ready, he's the answer. By the end of the game, you could feel the mood shift in Cleveland. The calls for Gabriel to be benched grew louder. The excitement for Shedeur reached fever pitch, and Dano's comments poured gasoline on the fire. It's no longer a debate, it's an inevitability. The Browns have their franchise quarterback, and his name is Shedeur Sanders. The only question now is how long the coaching staff will drag their feet before admitting what the world already sees.
Will everybody stop with the Shedeur Sanders is being set up to fail narrative? Who do you want to start the game? It's preseason week 1. First option, Joe Flacco. He's played for like 20 years. He's not going to start preseason week 1. The next 2 options would be a Kenny Pickett or a Dylan Gabriel. Both are dealing with hamstring injuries. Neither has practiced a ton recently. If they've done anything, I believe it's been 7-on-7. Who do you want to start the game?
The conclusion is crystal clear. Gabriel's ugly pick six may have been the low light of the night, but it also served as the breaking point, the final push Cleveland needed to turn the page once and for all. Shedeur's rise isn't just noticeable, it's undeniable, and his presence has already proven to be transformative. His ceiling feels limitless, the kind of talent you don't stumble upon often. As Dan O stated with conviction, Shedeur is the franchise quarterback. And the Browns can't afford to ignore that reality any longer. For the sake of their future, for the sake of their loyal fanbase, and for the sake of finally breaking free from decades of disappointment and mediocrity, the decision has to be made now. Shedeur isn't simply the quarterback of today. Dylan Gabriel's defenders might try to spin it as just one bad throw, just one off night, but when it keeps happening the excuse runs out of gas. The Browns are watching a quarterback implode in real time while Shedeur is proving he's built for the franchise tag, built for the long haul, built for the city. That pick six against the Eagles wasn't just ugly, it was the exclamation point on everything critics have been screaming about Gabriel from day one.
Dylan Gabriel threw a pick six. A motherfucking pick six. Now I saw the video because I forgot the game came on at 1 o'clock. And now I'm tapped in, but I missed the whole first quarter. Damn, I missed the whole second quarter. But back to the interception. He threw the ball. I mean, it looked like he threw a dart, though. He threw a dart. Was the interception his fault? I don't think it was his fault. I think it was 26's fault. That wide receiver.
Meanwhile, Shedeur doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to stir up drama, and doesn't even need to beg for validation because his game already does the talking. His arm strength, his vision, his poise under pressure, all of it speaks louder than any press conference or excuse ever could. Every throw that cuts through tight coverage, every drive that flips momentum, every big-time moment when the team needs him most, he delivers like the franchise cornerstone he's being called. That's why Dan O and every analyst with a working set of eyes see him as the future. The city feels it in the energy at every home game, the locker room trusts it every time they line up with him, and opponents can't ignore it. Deep down, even Gabriel must realize it. There's no debate left in Cleveland. The Browns' future is not a mystery, it's Shedeur Sanders, plain and simple. Gabriel's pick six wasn't just a mistake, it was a turning point. Cleveland can't afford to hesitate any longer. Shedeur Sanders has shown he's the leader, the talent, and the future the Browns desperately need. The verdict is in, Shedeur is the franchise quarterback, plain and simple.